deadliest wildfires in Los Angeles history, has destroyed entire neighborhoods. In fact, they're all in ash and rubble now, forced frantic evacuations and endangered wealthy, iconic areas of the city. Firefighters continue to battle relentless winds and dry conditions with the containment still out of reach. The sight of the cherished landmarks, silhouetted by thick smoke and glowing orange skies, has left residents feeling newly vulnerable. While accustomed to wildfires, Angelenos have in fact rarely faced such widespread destruction or so many places burning simultaneously near the urban areas. Fresh wildfire in the Hollywood Hills has put a densely populated region at risk. Other major fires in the Pacific Palisades along the coast, suburban Pasadena and rural parts of the San Fernando Valley continue to rage unchecked. Fear mounts as new smaller fires spark across the region, even as firefighters manage to extinguish many before they spread further. 5 wildfires, ladies and gentlemen. This, in fact, is a satellite image that we bring to you. These are the ones threatening the communities across Los Angeles area, spreading from the north, east, and the west. Sites that have been seen never before. Most devastating blaze, the Palisades Fire in the west, has scorched over 17,000 acres as of early Thursday, according to the Cal Fire. It has prompted evacuations along the Pacific Coast Highway, impacting areas like the Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and Santa Monica. These regions are home to iconic cliffside mansions as well as tightly packed beachside neighborhoods. To the east, the Eaton Fire in the San Gabriel Mountains, north of the Pasadena, has consumed more than 10,000 acres, destroyed hundreds of homes, and forced tens and thousands to evacuate from the area. Palisades Fire has destroyed over 1,000 homes, officials reported on Wednesday itself, with more properties being under threat. Fire has also devastated cherished landmarks, including the Palisades Charter High School, known as the alma mater of numerous celebrities, and filming sites for shows like The Modern Family. Historic ranch house owned by the entertainer Will Rogers until his death in 1935 has been lost, along with the iconic Topanga Ranch motel, a frequent backdrop in films over the years. Meanwhile, the Eaton Fire has consumed over 900 structures, officials said. Flames severely damaged parts of the Pasadena Jewish Temple and the center, which has served the community for more than a century now. Extent of the destruction, ladies and gentlemen, that's been caused by other wildfires remain uncertain because they're still trying to monitor the situation and understand the expanse and the extent that these fires have covered. U.S. private forecaster AccuWeather has estimated the damage and economic loss from the California wildfire, already one of the worst in the history, and it's over $57 billion.
The economic loss from the Los Angeles wildfires, already among the worst in history, has topped $50 billion. That's according to forecaster AccuWeather. The service added that the total estimate, now as high as $57 billion, would be revised upward if more densely populated neighborhoods were affected. By comparison, AccuWeather estimated the damage from the 2023 Maui wildfires at $13 to $16 billion. The LA wildfires, which have raged since Tuesday, have killed several people, destroyed hundreds of buildings, and stretched firefighting resources and water supplies. J.P. Morgan believes insured losses could stand at around $10 billion, mostly related to homeowners coverage. Property consultant CoreLogic estimates that there are over 456,000 homes with nearly $300 billion in reconstruction value in the city's at-risk areas.
Now, the raging wildfires surrounding Los Angeles spread to the Hollywood Hills after other fires in the area killed at least 5 people. In fact, now that death toll has increased to 7, destroying hundreds of homes and stretching firefighting resources and water supplies to their limits.
Raging wildfires surrounding Los Angeles spread to the Hollywood Hills Wednesday, with helicopters racing to douse the flames with water drops. It raised the number of major wildfires in Los Angeles County to 6 by Wednesday evening. From space, the conflagration could be seen gripping the city in a glowing red pincer. The earlier fires have already caused several deaths and destroyed hundreds of homes, while strong winds have hampered firefighting efforts and intensified the flames, which have burned uncontrollably since they erupted on Tuesday. Over 100,000 people have been evacuated, while state officials said 4 of the blazes were at 0% containment as night fell Wednesday.
This firestorm is the big one.
LA Mayor Karen Bass had returned to the city after cutting short an official trip to Ghana.
We are still facing strong and erratic winds. In Palisades and in Sylmar, we are very much in an active firefight. I can report to you that the Woodley fire, however, in the Sepulveda Basin is under control. I can also report that finally air operations have resumed, and that is a big deal, but it is up to the winds as to how long the air support can continue.
The Palisades Fire had already consumed over 15,000 acres in the upscale area west of LA, home to many celebrities and musicians. Officials said some fire hydrants had run dry there, hobbling firefighters. To the east, the Eaton Fire in the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains claimed about 10,000 acres. They struck at an especially vulnerable time for Southern California, which has not seen significant rainfall for months. Dry desert air from the east also fanned the flames while blowing over the hilltops and down through the canyons. Scientists say it's all come well outside the traditional wildfire season. They mark the latest in weather extremes likely to escalate as global temperatures continue to climb.
Now, home belonging to Hollywood actors Leighton Meester and Adam Brody and another owned by actor Billy Crystal were among more than 1,000 buildings that were destroyed by the wildfires that have, in fact, engulfed Los Angeles and, in fact, major portions of it.
The home of Hollywood couple Leighton Meester and Adam Brody went up in flames, while Paris Hilton watched her Malibu beach mansion burn down on live TV. Alongside actor Billy Crystal, they were among the many to lose their homes to the raging Los Angeles wildfires. The blazes, which turned deadly after beginning on Tuesday, have destroyed over 1,000 buildings across the region and have forced over 100,000 people to evacuate, including a number of celebrities. The largest fire consumed nearly 12,000 acres in Pacific Palisades, an upscale neighbourhood near Malibu, home to many stars. Nobody Wants This actor Brody and Gossip Girl star Meester have had their reportedly $6.5 million home there reduced to rubble. Pacific Palisades resident Oliver Alnat returned to the area, only to find both his current and childhood home gone.
Had just come from my family home where my mother lives. That was burned to a crisp, so that was the initial shock value. And then I came up to my home and same thing, it's completely dust.
On Wednesday evening, a fire erupted in the Hollywood Hills and quickly doubled in size. Forcing further evacuations, it stretched firefighting resources and water supplies to the limit. Even before this latest blaze, the out-of-control wildfires were some of the most destructive in Los Angeles history.
Iconic locations and neighborhoods that have been turned to dust and ash at this given point, ladies and gentlemen. That is the tragedy and the unfortunate story that we're tracking at this very morning. Well, with that, we in fact will cut across to a resident who is in fact speaking to us from Los Angeles right now. Preeta joins us on News9. Preeta, welcome to the show, and we really appreciate that you've joined us at a time which is so unfortunate and difficult time for all of you there. First help us understand the exact place that you are at. How far away is it from the wildfires, and what all have you all been witnessing over the last couple of days ever since these wildfires broke out on Tuesday? It is mayhem that we see at this particular point of time, the visuals that we've constantly been tracking.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm about 10 or 11 miles from the Palisades Fire, and I'm about 15 maybe miles or so from the Pasadena Fire. Um, it's been really sad and surreal. It kind of feels apocalyptic out here. There's smoke in the air, heavy, heavy smoke, which we have not ever really experienced before. Um, and it's just scary. There's a lot of people who are scared. There's a lot of like fright in all of us because we've never seen anything like this before. Neighborhoods like the Palisades, places that we go to frequently and are just so used to, are burnt down in flames. And there's a lot of people here who have been here their whole life who have these memories that are just kind of put to death because they're all on fire. So it's just really sad and surreal because it's not something we've ever faced before. But I feel like we've all been really good at checking in on each other. I think we have a great community out here, but it's just sad because it's so out of our control that there's not much we can do. And it just keeps on growing and growing. And it's just a really scary time. So, yeah.
Absolutely unimaginable loss, and definitely a time of fear for all of you residents there who are even mildly close to the entire situation that has in fact only been expanding. Prita, also help us understand the place that you are in currently. Have there been warnings issued or any kind of measures that have been taken by the government, by the authorities to be prepared in case any evacuation is required from your neighborhood as well?
No, I'm pretty inland, so I don't have any evacuation signs, or haven't had any evacuation warnings sent to me, thankfully. But I know there was a sunset fire that started last night, but thankfully that is pretty contained. So I think people in Hollywood Hills area are somewhat okay, and I think that part is contained, and that would be the closest fire to me. But it's still pretty eerie outside. But yeah, I haven't had to evacuate. It's just mostly kind of in the hills and stuff like that. And the Eden Canyon one is on the other side of me. But I'm a little bit more central, and I'm again about 10 miles away from that area. So I haven't had to evacuate yet, but it is pretty smoky outside, and there's a lot of dust particles everywhere. There's just a layer and coat of ash everywhere on cars, and the sky is just surreal and crazy because it's just all orange and you can just see the smoke everywhere you look. You can't even really see the Hollywood sign. Used to be able to see the Hollywood sign from my area, but it's just so fogged up that I couldn't see it on my way home today. So it's pretty crazy just to not really be able to see things.
Have you been able to speak to anybody from these particular neighborhoods that have already unfortunately and tragically been turned into dust and ash?
Yeah, I know a few people, or at least I've been in communication with some people who live in who maybe had homes in the Palisades, people that used to work at my job. I know someone from the Palisades, they lost their home, unfortunately. I know someone else who lost their home as well, I believe in Burbank. And I think that was maybe the second time their house had burnt down. Um, but I don't know them too closely. I just know that they've lost their homes, and it's just a really sad, sad time. I know someone else, one of my close friends, who the fire was on the same street as them. They're in Pasadena, and I believe the fire did stop a few blocks away from their house, but it's just very crazy to, see your house and then a bunch of ash and burnt buildings around you. So I can only imagine, and it's just such a sad, sad time.
In fact, Preeta, thank you so much for joining us on News 9. Do stay safe. And, that was an eyewitness's account with regards to the situation that has in fact been panning out in Los Angeles at this given point. The Eaton Fire, in fact, as she was just mentioning, killed 7 people, fire officials have said so far. While there haven't been any fatalities reported from the Palisades Fire, some firefighters have suffered injuries while battling this very blaze, and there have been a high number of significant injuries among people who did not evacuate their homes even when they should have because of that very fire. Now, residents of Palisades have long urged officials to develop better fire preparation plans. When a wildfire swept through the community this week, chaos and gridlock ensued. The issue has been years in the making, with residents repeatedly warning about evacuation challenges in the fire-prone hillside neighborhoods. Similar traffic jams occurred during two fires, one in 2019 which threatened homes and highlighted the risks posed by the area's limited escape routes. Now, aerial views of Los Angeles Pacific Palisades area show widespread devastation in the wake of the Palisades Fire, which in fact continues to burn. Row upon row of burned out structures could be seen from various overhead vantage points as a smoky haze still hung in the air. The Palisades Fire between Santa Monica and Malibu on the city's western flank and the Eaton Fire in the east near Pasadena are already the most destructive in Los Angeles' history. Aerial view of the Palisades Fire on Thursday, January 9th, that is, showed a thick cloud of smoke stretching over the Los Angeles areas as flames consumed a hillside below. National Weather Service extended red flag warnings issued when the risk for fire is high due to low humidity, high winds and warm temperatures for Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Firefighters try to extinguish smoldering buildings in Malibu. These are some of the visuals. In fact, on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, we keep bringing to you the entire map of the area and how and where exactly the fires have been concentrated. In Pacific Palisades, an upscale and picturesque enclave where many celebrities reside, once palatial homes stood in ruins, complete ash and ruins, while downed power lines and abandoned cars littered the roadways. Smell of heavy smoke filled the air and residents wearing masks rode bicycles, hoping to catch a glimpse of their damaged houses. Nestled on bluffs and foothills overlooking the Pacific Ocean, the Palisades offers privacy and scenic views, but faces constant wildfire threats due to its steep terrain and rugged landscape. Despite meetings and warnings over the last decade, including a 2020 message from community leaders to the Los Angeles City Council, concerns about evacuation bottlenecks remain unaddressed.
So the Eaton Fire is now estimated to be 13,690 acres. It's grown since our morning press conference because the fire is making a run towards the historic Mount Wilson area. We are still at 0% containment, but we now have a better estimation of the number of fire personnel assigned to the incident. We're now at 1,527 personnel assigned, and like this morning, additional mutual aid resources to continue to arrive to assist in the firefight. This morning, we did have a firefighter suffer a significant injury in a fall. That firefighter is resting comfortably at an area hospital. He's in stable condition, and he is expected to make a full recovery. We now have a confirmation that we have a potential for over 4,000 to 5,000 structures damaged or destroyed. I have not had any reports that the LA County Fire Department has suffered low water pressure or ran out of water here at this fire. We're in close coordination with the Department of Public Works. We speak to them often, and I haven't been advised of any issues that we've had. I know that there is a boil water directive for the Eaton Fire because of the high amount of ash that's in the water. But for firefighting water, I haven't heard that we ran out of water or that we had low water pressure.
Yeah, so the firefighters they've been really, really good to us, and they're under-resourced here because they're sending a lot of their troops to the front line. One of the firefighters told me, if I'm remembering correctly, they sent 500 engines to Topanga because that's where a lot of stuff is happening, and I'm grateful because that's where I live. And so I'm just grateful to know that there's a lot of people holding the line up there. But here they only have 2 engines for this whole neighborhood, and they're out of water. They ran out of water from the the lines here, but they also don't have water in their trucks. And so they have been setting up pumps that go from the pools in the neighbors on either side of this house. And they've just been trying to keep it down. The fire is too big for 2 engines to be able to stop. But they're just trying to keep it down and prevent it from starting fires in the neighboring houses.
It's Armageddon. I'm driving through a war zone right now, and I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm shocked. I'm just so sad for our devastated community. We lost 600 homes in the Woosley fire, one of which was mine, and now I don't even know how we're going to be able to recover from this.
Had just come from my family home where my mother lives. That was burned to a crisp, so that was the initial shock value. And then I came up to my home and same thing, it's completely dust. So that's, I just had to see it with my own eyes to believe it.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to cover. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called the smelt. And for the sake of the smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy.